brief and ain't easy, but an ICP test can help you know what's going on in your tank. I've never done it for my tank. I do automatic water changes, so I think I have most of what I need in there, but I am really curious. I'm going to be doing this ICP test. Based on the map, it almost looks like they're out of Colorado, which is where I live, so I'm excited to get the test results really quickly. If you live in the US, you know, they advertise, and I've heard from other people that you get the test results a lot quicker than other ICP tests. It is also more cost effective. I can't speak to whether or not these results are going to be as accurate as anybody else's, but I would assume so. You know, it says ICP-OES is an instrument designed to analyze and detect elements down to the 1 part per billion, surpassing the accuracy of consumer test kits. So I'll definitely take this ICP test. I'll write down the parameters I get from my own testing kits, like, you know, my Trident. I don't know if this is new and maybe a promotion thing, but you can see this red sticker says includes free shipping plus 2 vials to test your aquarium and RO water. I wasn't expecting that, and that's awesome. So far everything's great. I'm a little confused. It's pretty easy. The instructions say register, fill sample, send it off. Where I got confused is, you know, there's 2 vials, and it says on here one's for my aquarium, one's for my RO water. When you get online, you can register an aquarium or a faucet. So I'm assuming the faucet is RO water, but then you get a unique test number, and I only had one of these in my kit, and then I have 2 bags and 2 vials. So here's where you're supposed to write the unique ID, and you're supposed to attach it to the vial. But what about the other vial, and is it all supposed to just be one? So I did register a faucet, and I put that unique ID, and I put RODI on it, as well as my tank with the unique ID, and I put tank. So I think it'll be fine when I put it in the bag. Any kind of feedback, maybe just be a little bit more clear on the instructions. And to the defense of, you know, this company, which is Complete Element Water Analysis, maybe this is a promotional thing they're doing where they're allowing you to have 2 tests to test your RO water as well as your tank water. So it's a little bit out of the norm for them, so that's why there isn't clear instructions. And yeah, I'm definitely excited that I got more than what I thought I was going to get. Maybe that is how it always is, but I wasn't expecting that, to be able to test 2 different things. But again, I actually have been considering replacing my filters on my RODI, but you know, where I live, luckily we have some of the cleanest water in the nation. There's a lot of like breweries here just for that reason. It comes out of the tap at 44 TDS, and when I test for like chloramines and chlorides, I don't have any in my tap water, or at least a little test that I do doesn't say that. So very clean water. I just noticed my first, you know, sediment filter in the 5-stage was getting a little brown, and yeah, backstory is it's a used unit. I have extra filters, came with it when I bought it, so I'm like, should I replace it? But I don't want to be wasteful, and you know, obviously it reads 0 TDS when it comes out the system. But long story short, I'm excited to get that tested to make sure, hey, super ultra clean, or should I replace some filters? So because I wrote on these in permanent marker, I'm a little afraid of dipping them in the water. So I'm actually going to use a little, you know, syringe pipette thing, but something that I definitely think you should do if you're going to be doing this, and would recommend, since, you know, we're taking extremely accurate to, you know, parts per billion. I'm going to rinse this out 3 or 4 times by filling it up, dumping it, filling it up, dumping it. And I'm going to fill up, you know, this guy with tank water, swish it around, dump it, do that a couple times, and then I'm going to fill it up just in case there's any tiny little things within the plastic, just to make sure it's rinsed off and good. Maybe not necessary, but better safe than sorry. Same thing with the RO. I'm going to fill it up, rinse it up, put the cap on, shake it up, rinse it out, and then just fill it up all the way. Seal them, put them in the bags, and then take this to the post office and mail it off, and we'll see what the results say. So you need to write a number on your vials. The way you do that is go to icp-analysis.com and click on register, fill out some basic info real quick, press create, and then they're gonna send you an email to whatever email address you put in. I think you can actually go through Facebook and stuff too. I did it this way. You click here, you re-log in, and you're brought to this screen. Now you can see on the left you can add aquarium or add a faucet, and I pressed add aquarium, and you can label your tank and put how many gallons it is, and then you can see here it gives you the unique test ID number and also has the instructions. it says to affix it to your water sample. That's why I think you use the sticker, but there's also a white space on the actual vial where you can write it. That's where I was just a little confused. I only have one sticker. Do I use that for both the tank and the RODI water and just have one number? But I assumed I could see, because it says on the left there, add a faucet, that the faucet was going to be the RODI water. So I clicked there and then just gave this a name. Click add faucet, and then you have another number, and I put this number on the other vial, so each vial had its own number and it worked correctly. Alright guys, I actually took my water Monday the 24th at about 4:30, and I sent the ICP test the next day at 1 o'clock. I mailed it on the 25th, and I got these emails for both of the RO water and my tank water that I sent in at 2:32 today, so it took 3 days and 1.5 hours for me to get the results. That is astonishing and amazing, awesome fast. I live in Colorado, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, and I don't know if I'd expect that quick of a turnaround, but that is absolutely awesome. So I have my tank water and my RODI water that I tested. The tank water, as far as I can tell, everything's looking pretty good. They have a ICP suggested, then they show you what they tested in Fuji, Hawaii, St. Thomas, and Florida, different water, different ocean water around the world, which is pretty awesome. As you click through these, like boron, it'll tell you that it aids in coloration, but high levels will brown out the colors. However, some stuff like strontium, it doesn't give any advice or tell you anything, so you'd have to do a little bit more research on your own. This was the only one that was off, and they're basically just saying I should get it up to 9 to 12, or if you look at the ICP suggested, they're saying 12 to 14. I'll have to do a little bit more research as to why. Please comment below if you know why. But when I actually look at the natural, like Fiji, Hawaii, St. Thomas, and Florida, they're right around 7.5, so I'm really not that far off of natural seawater, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'll definitely do some more research in there. I'm not sure why arsenic is highlighted red. Those strontium, arsenic, highlighted red, but when I click on it, it says low is good, says it's at 0. Looks like, if anything, sometimes they test a little bit in the water and suggest 0, so I think that was just a glitch or a mistake. So I am, oh, interesting, awaiting test results. Awaiting test results. So I'm not sure if these are going to happen or you have to request these. I honestly don't even know what those are. I'll have to do some more research on that. I just logged into this, so I'm still learning. I've never had an ICP test before. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. What I did think was really interesting is calcium 404, magnesium 1360. My super expensive Trident would lead me to believe that the time I took it, which was Monday, so in between these two test times right here, it was 4:45, 4:47, yet here I'm about 40 points less. So if I adjust for that and I want my calcium at 425 or 450, I would add an extra 40. I suspect an ICP test would be more dead on. I used to actually run my calcium at 480. I think I'll go back to that just to give me a buffer. There's not really any downside of having your calcium high. I mean, I'm pretty close, 460. So good thing I am running it higher. You know, I think a lot of people do like 425, and I'm glad that it's up there and higher. My magnesium says 421, and on Monday, yeah, in between there, 432, 434, let's call it 433. Magnesium though says 1360, so that's about 80 off. That is interesting. So good thing I run my magnesium high as well. I like to keep it, you know, roughly around 1440, and that's super interesting. I wonder after I put in new reagent and do the calibration if it'll jump down a little bit. Just food for thought. Now here's my RODI water. Now it's interesting because they have all these highlighted in red, so they're talking about what it would suggest for actual tank water. But when I went through just a minute ago and looked, let me double check. Yeah, everything except for iodine and potassium is 0, which is what you want for your RODI water. You want it to be zero TDS, nothing in there. Potassium and iodine are supposed to be in your reef tank, so no issues there. My potassium and iodine levels were pretty much great, so I'm not going to worry about that. I know people dose iodine and potassium, so if I naturally have it in my RODI water, I guess that's pretty good. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. This is pretty cool. First time I've gotten a test. The reason I think all my stuff is in level, I contribute it to my favorite thing I have, which is my saltwater mixing station. You know, every week I'm doing about 8% water change, and every 2 weeks would be 15%. And I think that comes out to about 1.7 gallons a day. Yeah, we got I do 6,813 milliliters every night on a tank that I'm guessing has about 150 total gallons when you subtract rock and other things like that. So could be a little off there, but I believe that is why I have good numbers and I don't have to worry about dosing anything other than calcium and alkalinity. Well, reefing ain't easy, but ICP tests make it easier. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.